Let's begin with the most disturbing unsolved internet mysteries. The cursed tape. In 2008, a mailman in Britain named Mark Hiller bought an old VCR player from a junk shop. The seller laughed and said, "Take this tape with it as a gift." Mark thanked him and left. 2 days later, while cleaning the device, he noticed the tape was old with faded writing on it. Excited, he decided to play it. That's when everything started. The video began in complete darkness with the sound of someone breathing. Then a strange scene appeared. Someone walking and filming inside a hotel hallway. The place was dark, with the sound of footsteps echoing. A fast shadow passed in front of the camera. Then another shot. A hand holding a door handle, disappearing before the door opened. The last scene was half static, but showed a face close to the camera. Unnatural, one side tilted, and the other eye staring straight into the lens. Mark got scared and turned off the device. But after he turned it off, he heard breathing behind him. When he looked, nothing. From that day, weird things started happening. Whenever he tried to sleep, he heard someone breathing in the room. The TV would turn on by itself on an empty static channel. Mark tried playing the tape again, but this time the content had changed. It was the same hallway, but written on the wall in red were the words, "Tape number 42. Mark started documenting everything, filming and trying to prove what he saw was real. He even invited friends over to watch the tape, but when they tried, it only showed an error. His friends said he was lying. A week later, Mark disappeared. The police searched his apartment but found nothing except the VCR player still on and the tape inside. No sign of Mark. Smile of death. In 2014, a photography hobbyist named Lux Finn was working on a slightly strange project, taking pictures of people on the street while they were smiling so he could create an exhibition about everyday smiles. The idea was nice until he reached photo number 237, the one that changed everything. Lux was shooting on a quiet street and came across a girl standing at a crossing light. When she saw Lux with a camera, she gave him a small smile. Lux took the picture and walked away like normal, but when he got home and started reviewing the photos, he noticed her smile was a little strange. Not a normal smile. The corners of her mouth were raised higher than usual, and her eyes didn't match the expression. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes had something scary in them. Lux laughed and told himself maybe the editing software messed up the lighting, but things got weird when he tried to delete the photo. Every time he pressed delete, the photo wouldn't disappear. The file would just reappear in a different folder with the same name, smile237.jpg. During the following days, his computer kept freezing a lot, and every time he turned it on, the background would change automatically to the woman's picture. The smile kept getting a bit wider every day, like someone was editing it daily. He tried formatting the computer completely, installing a new system, even changing the hard drive, but the picture still came back with the same name. The only difference was that the facial features became clearer and the smile came closer. Lux started documenting everything happening to him and posted it on Reddit. He said that on the third night, he heard a soft female laugh in the apartment, like it was coming from the speakers. A week later, he stopped responding. The police entered his apartment after neighbors reported hearing constant laughing at night, but the apartment was empty. The only thing they found was his computer with a new picture, Lux himself, smiling that same smile. People split into groups as usual. Some said it was a marketing stunt for a horror movie. Others said the photo was cursed and anyone who sees it disappears. Some even claimed they heard a soft laugh after seeing the picture for the first time. And to this day, no one has explained how a digital photo could come back on its own. The forbidden number. In 2016, a British guy from Manchester named Ethan was working at a small phone repair shop. Most of his job was fixing old devices and helping people recover old photos or numbers. One day, a girl walked in looking a bit strange, messy hair and a tired face like she hadn't slept for days. She handed Ethan an old broken Nokia phone and told him quietly, "I want you to pull the numbers from this phone and transfer them to a new one, but don't answer any number that starts with 666. Ethan laughed and said, "Don't worry, I don't think hell has a phone signal." The girl smiled slightly and said nothing. She paid and left without even looking back. Later that night, Ethan was alone in the shop doing repairs. He opened the old phone, and weirdly, it worked fine. The first number he saw in recent calls was 666 billion. He laughed to himself and said he had seen pranks like this before, but exactly 1 minute later, the phone rang. The same number. Ethan froze, but without thinking, he answered. The sound on the other side was heavy breathing, then a whisper. "Why did you answer?" Ethan quickly hung up, but before he could process what happened, every device in the shop started ringing with the same number, even the ones without SIM cards, even the ones that had been off for days, all of them ringing at the same time, with the same tone, same number. The ringing lasted for a minute, then everything suddenly went quiet. Ethan tried deleting the number, but it wouldn't delete. Seconds later, his personal phone got a strange notification. an incoming call from the same number. When he answered, he heard, "I told you not to answer." Ethan got scared and started recording everything and posted the video on Reddit. The video spread fast, but 2 days later, the video disappeared, and the account that uploaded it was deleted. People who saw the post before it was deleted said Ethan's last comment was, "Tonight, I'll call the number myself." No one saw him after that. The police went to the shop after his family reported that he wasn't answering their calls. When they checked the place, they found the old phone on the table. The screen was on, and there was an active call with the number 666. Call duration, 3 hours and 7 minutes. The screaming room. In 2019, a young man named Kevin moved into a new apartment in Chicago. The place was spacious, and the rent was way cheaper than normal, so cheap that he joked, "It must be haunted or something." He laughed, not knowing how close he was to the truth. The first week, everything was normal, but on the 7th night, he heard a voice coming from the second room, a man speaking softly, like whispering. Kevin froze because that room was completely empty. He gathered some courage, opened the door. Nothing. He tried to ignore it and told himself maybe the sound was coming from the apartment below. But after a few days, he heard the voice almost every night at the exact same time, 3:13 a.m. So he put a microphone in the middle of the room and left it recording all night. The next day, he listened. Everything was normal until 3:13 a.m. He raised the volume. He heard whispering, "Why did you take my apartment?" He stopped the recording and rushed to the room, thinking maybe a neighbor was messing with him. But inside, he noticed something weird. The air was colder than the rest of the apartment, even though there was no AC or windows. Stranger still, in one corner of the wall, there was a small crack, completely dark inside. He set up a small camera facing the crack. The next day, while watching the footage, he saw something that looked like it came straight out of a horror movie. At 3:13 a.m., something inside the crack started to move. Something crawling slowly, shaped like a person, but it never came out fully. Then it disappeared after a minute. Every tenant after Kevin left the apartment within months, without explaining why. One neighbor said that years ago, the original tenant was a lonely man who died in that same room under mysterious circumstances. And they say the wall with the crack is where workers found human remains during renovations. No one knows what happens when you fall out of reality. The Backrooms explained. The beginning. As soon as you open your eyes, you find yourself standing in a long hallway. Its walls are pale yellow, the floor smells wet, and the lights keep turning off and on. The only sound you hear is an annoying buzzing, like electricity, but you can't tell where it's coming from. You walk a little and feel like you're going in circles. Every corner looks the same, and every hallway brings you back to the same spot. You try to focus, but the place makes you doubt yourself, like you're stuck in a dream with no end. Some people said they heard whispers or saw a shadow move quickly. Some started hallucinating and talking to themselves. You feel like you're being watched even though there's no one there. Entering this level usually happens when you slip from reality. Suddenly, you disappear from your place and fall here without warning. Exit. There might be a ventilation opening above you or a metal door appearing suddenly. But if you see it, you have to walk fast and pay attention because the place repeats itself and tricks you. If you hear steam or see a faint red light, that's usually your way to the next level. The Dark Factory? When you enter through the door, you find yourself in a hallway full of pipes, with sounds of steam and dim lights flickering constantly. The walls are metallic, the floor slippery, and everything gives you the feeling of being inside an abandoned factory. The air is heavy and smells like burnt oil. Some areas have light smoke. Creatures start appearing here like hounds. Their sound is like distorted barking. Faceless humans stare at you silently. There are pools called almond water. Their taste is strange, but they are the only source of drinking water. Some of them cause hallucinations. The overall atmosphere is tense. Every sound could signal an attack, and every corner might hide a strange creature. Exiting is through an old elevator at the end of a long hallway or a door with a fire mark. If you hear strong steam, that's usually your way to the next level. The hot tunnels. The moment you enter, you feel heat hitting your face. The tunnels are narrow, the walls make cracking sounds, and steam bursts out suddenly from every corner. The air is heavy, and every breath hurts. Some areas contain poisonous steam that makes you hallucinate and forget where you even are. Creatures here are extremely aggressive, like skin stealers, beings that steal human forms. If they see you, they might disguise themselves as you. And also, the Columbus creatures, flesh-like clusters, move silently, suddenly emerging from walls and disappearing quickly. There are no colonies here because it's unsuitable for living, but rumors say people got stuck here and became part of the place. Exiting. A rusty door somewhere randomly, but be careful. There are multiple rusty doors and some send you back to the beginning. If you find the right one, you'll end up in a place full of water. This is level 3. The swimming rooms. As soon as you enter, you feel a strange calm, like you entered another world. The place is full of pools, the walls are white and very smooth. The water is completely still and calm. No movement at all. The only sound is your footsteps. Every mirror has a strange reflection, like you see yourself distorted. There are no obvious creatures, but you feel watched. Some people said they saw faces rising from under the water, looking at them, then disappearing suddenly. Some heard distant crying. The water here isn't normal. It's strangely cold. If you stay in it too long, you'll lose your memory. Some areas have dim blue light. Some are completely dark. Entering them makes you feel stuck in infinite space. Exit. A secret door in the wall. Be careful. Some doors take you to unknown levels. The right one leads you to complete darkness, and that's level 4. Total darkness. This level is completely dark. No light, no sound, nothing. You walk and feel like you're floating because you can't see anything. Every step feels like it could be your last. Creatures here rely on sound, like the thing, which attacks if it hears you. Some say it repeats what it heard you say before attacking. People who entered here literally lost their minds. Some said they heard someone talking in their own voice, like another version of themselves was following them. Some walls are soft. If you touch them, it feels like the wall is alive and breathing. Exit. Follow the dim light at the end of the hallway. Walk silently. Don't make any sound, not even a breath. If you succeed, you'll find yourself in an abandoned office. Level 5. The abandoned office. As soon as you enter, you see endless offices, neat tables, old computers, and scattered papers. No one is there. The lighting is steady and cold, giving the feeling of a government office. The atmosphere is quiet but tense, as if cameras are watching you. Walking through the offices, you see machines with water and strange objects like batteries and keys. Papers have unreadable writing. Some people use the place to sleep, others write notes on the walls. Creatures here are rare, but rumors speak of an employee appearing suddenly, staring at you, then disappearing. Some said they heard a printer printing by itself, producing papers with pictures of them while they were asleep. Exit. A secret door in the meeting room. Be careful. If the employee sees you near the room, it sends you back to the beginning. If you reach the door successfully, you'll enter level 6. The hotel. As soon as you enter, you find yourself in an old hotel. Fancy decorations, red carpets, big chandeliers. The place feels luxurious, but something is wrong, like a classic horror movie. You hear music from nowhere, and sometimes footsteps above. Creatures like the host act as receptionists, but with distorted faces. If you talk to them, they answer strangely. Some rooms are forbidden because they cause hallucinations. Some people found themselves in their childhood, but everything was distorted. Elevators move by themselves and may take you to random levels. Exit. A small opening in the lobby. That's level 7. The silent tunnel. A long tunnel with stone walls. Everything is silent. You walk, hearing your heartbeat. Creatures move in the shadows. You can't see them, but you feel them touch you before disappearing. Some areas are humid. People said they saw writing on the walls. Someone was here before you. Others saw eyes emerging from the walls, looking at them, then disappearing. Exit. A wooden door at the end of the tunnel. If it opens, you reach level 8. The wheat field. As soon as you emerge, you find yourself in a farm-like area with no sunlight. Everything looks dull, like a dream. Walking through the wheat, you feel watched. Creatures called harvesters are tall and silent. They watch but attack only if you run. You hear wind, but there's no air. Some reported hearing a harvester at work or seeing a small house in the field. Anyone who entered never returned. Exit. A wooden hut at the end of the field with a trapdoor. Don't look back while opening it. If it opens, you've reached level 9. The hospital. As soon as you enter, you find yourself in a huge hospital. Long hallways, cracked walls, and cold lighting. The floors are covered with old and some fresh blood. Every door leads to a different room, some empty, some frozen in time. Creatures called surgeons wear doctor outfits but have distorted faces. They make knife-like sounds, watch you, and if seen, treat you like a patient. And you don't want that. Some rooms are forbidden because strange things happen inside. One person said he saw himself asleep on an operating table with surgeons standing around. Even stranger, he saw the surgeons opening his chest while he watched. Rumors mention a mad ward. Anyone who entered never returned. Exit. You need to find the X-ray room. The path isn't easy because hallways change. Once inside, you'll find 3 doors. One sends you back to the start, one leads back to the real world, one takes you to the next level. The most disturbing serial killer police sketches. Derek Todd Lee. Imagine living in a quiet neighborhood. Everything in your life feels normal. You go to work in the morning, come back in the afternoon, watch some TV, and sleep peacefully. But then, in one moment, everything suddenly changes. News breaks about a young woman who was murdered. A week later, another girl goes missing, and no one knows who's behind these crimes. This was life for people in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the early 2000s. A serial killer was among them, stalking young women, watching them for days or even weeks. He learned their routines, when they left, where they went, and when they came back. Then, he attacked without mercy. At first, the police were completely lost. All the victims were women. Each crime was slightly different, but the overall pattern was the same. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no clear evidence. People became terrified. especially women. Many were afraid to even leave their homes. One of the victims was a young woman named Charlotte. She was around 22 years old, recently graduated from college, excited to start her life. She lived alone and had a very normal routine, but the killer had been watching her. One ordinary day, he entered her home, attacked her, and stabbed her 81 times with a screwdriver. Not even a weapon meant for killing. The pain and suffering she went through is beyond imagination. This crime broke the entire city. No one heard screams. No one heard anything. But another case was different. A woman named Diana lived with her young son. One day, a man knocked on her door and said he needed to use a phone. She felt something was off, but she was kind and let him in. The moment he entered, he attacked her, grabbed her by the neck, and tried to strangle her. Diana fought back. Suddenly, her young son walked in, screamed, and started running. The criminal panicked and ran away. Diana survived and gave the police a description. She said the man was tall, thin, had dark skin, and strange eyes. But here's the problem. The FBI had already decided the killer must be a white man, because most serial killers in US history were white. They didn't take Diana's description seriously and continued searching for a white suspect who didn't even exist. So much time was wasted, so many chances were lost, all because of a stereotype. Later, the investigation moved forward and DNA samples were taken from the crime scenes. After some time, the results came back. The results showed the killer was actually an African-American man. The DNA matched a known criminal named Derek Todd Lee. Derek had a long history of violence and assaults. He had been in and out of prison many times. People had always talked about him, but no one connected him to the murders because police were looking in the wrong direction. Once he became a suspect, several murders were linked to him, at least 5 or 6 confirmed. Some believe he may have committed over 20 crimes, but there wasn't enough evidence. When he realized he was exposed, Derek fled Louisiana and went to Atlanta. Police tracked him down and arrested him. He was put on trial and sentenced to death. In 2016, he died of heart problems before the execution could be carried out. Lake Bodom. Imagine 4 teenagers in the middle of summer, bags packed, excited for a camping trip by a quiet lake far away from the city. The lake was called Lake Bodom, located in southern Finland. There were 2 boys and their girlfriends between the ages of 15 and 18. They arrived, set up their tent, and started their day. Fishing, swimming, laughing. The day passed lightly and the night seemed normal, or at least that's what we know, because what happened next has never been fully explained. The next morning, people walking around the lake noticed something strange. The tent was collapsed in a worrying way. When they got closer, they saw one of the most horrifying scenes imaginable. 3 bodies were found inside the tent, brutally attacked. The area was covered in blood. The only one still alive was Niels, but he had extremely serious injuries. Whoever attacked them intended to kill everyone without exception. What shocked everyone was that the killer never entered the tent at first. He cut the fabric from the outside and stabbed them through it, then entered the tent and finished the attack. Afterward, he stole some of their belongings and fled. The police arrived and began the investigation, but from the very beginning, everything was chaos. The crime scene was not properly secured. People walked around the tent, stepping on evidence. When Niels recovered, he said he had seen a strange person standing near the tent before the attack, wearing red and black, with blonde hair. The police used this description to create a sketch, but it led nowhere. They investigated more than 88 suspects. Some had criminal records, others were simply near the area at the time. One of the main suspects was a strange man named Vajo, known in the area. He constantly complained about campers ruining nature. Once, while drunk, he confessed to the murders, but later his wife said he was with her at the time, and the police believed her. Another suspect was a German man named Hans, who went to the hospital on the same day of the crime with blood on his clothes. His criminal record was far from clean, but he claimed to have an alibi, and he was removed from the case. Years passed, and all the evidence became weak or lost. People started believing the case would never be solved. Then, in 2004, the police suddenly accused Niels, the only survivor, claiming he committed the crime and pretended to be a victim. The problem was that his injuries were so severe that he could barely move, let alone commit such a brutal crime. The court reviewed the evidence and found it insufficient. Niels was declared innocent and received a large compensation. To this day, no one knows who killed the 3 victims. Joanna Lopez. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to the sound of the TV while sleeping in your living room. The screen is bright, the American national anthem is playing, the flag is waving, everything feels normal. At that time, TV channels used to stop broadcasting at midnight. In 1989, in Chicago, on a channel called WMAQ, something happened that has never been explained. After the national anthem ended, the screen did not go black like usual. Instead, a girl's face appeared on the screen, a distorted, unsettling image. Under it was written, Joanna Lopez. No location, no date of disappearance, no sound, just her name, a Chicago police phone number, and a terrifying image staring at viewers. The image stayed on the screen all night until morning. People started talking. Some said it was an announcement about a missing girl. Others thought it was a technical error. But in 1991, the same channel aired the image again. This time, Joanna was wearing sunglasses. The broadcast lasted only 10 seconds, then the channel went off air. From that moment, the mystery deepened. Many people searched missing persons records, newspapers, and old files. There was nothing. No official report. No second photo, nothing. It was like Joanna Lopez never existed. When people called the station asking who Joanna was and why her image was shown, the channel said the image was sent by an unknown person along with a small note asking for it to be broadcast. They said the sender promised to contact them again, but never did. Who was this person? Why choose a local channel? Why twice? 2 years apart? No one knows. Some believe she was one of the many girls who disappear every year in Chicago, especially in high-crime neighborhoods. Maybe the person who sent the image was trying to report her disappearance indirectly, without proof or official records. The story remains stuck in the minds of many as one of the strangest mysteries in American television history. Madeleine McCann. In 2007, a British family decided to take a short vacation to Portugal at a resort called the Ocean Club. The parents, Jerry and Kate, traveled with their 3 children. The oldest was their daughter Madeleine, who was 3 years old. One night, the parents decided to go out to dinner with friends at a restaurant inside the resort. The apartment was only a few steps away. They left the children sleeping, planning to check on them regularly. At 9 p.m., the father checked on the children. They were asleep, everything was fine. At 9:15 p.m., a woman saw a strange man walking through the hallway carrying a small child. She assumed it was the child's father. At 10 p.m., the mother returned and opened the door. Madeleine's bed was empty. Panic exploded. The mother screamed, people gathered, and police arrived. Within hours, the entire resort was under investigation, but the child had vanished without a trace. From the start, the investigation had problems. The area was not properly secured, and people were constantly entering and leaving the apartment. Over time, the police began suspecting the parents themselves, suggesting one of them caused the child's death and hid the body. Forensic teams could not prove anything. No blood, no physical evidence, nothing linking them to the crime, especially since witnesses reported seeing a strange man walking around the apartments, asking odd questions about an orphanage and children whose parents had died. Police created a suspect sketch based on witness descriptions and labeled him the main suspect. Years passed, people shared the images. Some said they had seen him, others said they hadn't. In 2013, British police reopened the case and found many leads that Portuguese police had ignored, including information about suspects who were never investigated. The major turning point came in 2020 when new information surfaced about a German man named Christian Bruckner, a known criminal with a long history of sexual assaults. He lived in a suspicious van and was near the resort at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. What raised suspicion further was that one of his friends said Christian indirectly confessed to the crime while they were watching news coverage about Madeleine together. Christian reportedly said, "I know what happened to her." Police searched his property and found photos and videos. However, to this day, no direct evidence has been found linking him to the crime.